Hi again. In this video, I want to walk you through a typical module, module 1 in this case, so you can see what the weekly pattern will be like. Okay, so I have clicked on module 1 on the left. Again, using this as a checklist, then you'll see module 2, 3, 4, etc. So in module 1 is its own checklist. And usually I have an image here. This is a cat saying mew for the Greek letter mu, for a mean. And then the first thing in each module is what we're doing this week. So these will all be kind of similar, but it'll give you a little information about the content that we'll be working on this week, the activities, which, like I said, will be the similar pattern, and then the specific content objectives that we'll do, and then also looking ahead to the next week. The second thing in each module are the lecture and notes. Okay, so this is the most important part, right? This is all the content on video. And so this is what, first you want to get those pages printed. And I gave you the whole packet at once if you want to print everything at once. Or you have the individual PDF for either writing on electronically or printing as you go. You also have a blank Word doc, so if you prefer to type or if you would like to use a screen reader to read the words to you. And then I also have the completed notes for reference. So let's say you've gone through all the notes, but then you want to just see, oh, how did you write that? You can use that right there for reference. So then each video has approximate time on it. And you can see that I'm writing on those pages that I showed you in the last video. So you'll have any links that you need. For example, this one, we're starting with a survey. So please fill that out and I'll share the results in an announcement. And any tools, online tools that we'll use in the videos will be right above here. So please do practice along with the videos. It's an interactive class. So you'll want to be writing the stuff and also practicing with each app as you go. You'll be using them in your homework as well. So. And you'll just see we've got several videos. Sometimes there's an outside video. Sometimes it's optional, and it'll say optional. Sometimes there's an additional resource. But here we're just walking through all of the Module 1 pages. Additional resources here on data justice. Experiments. Okay. And then here are two optional ones. I've found over the years that a lot of people have missed out on rounding and percentages or have just had trouble with those. So please feel free to use these. You can skip them if you feel comfortable and confident with those, but if not, please use these for practice. Okay, and then at the bottom, we also have textbook resources. So in this class, because our book doesn't really cover the simulation areas, I'm giving you very specific subsections to go to. So you'll see it might go down to 5.3.2, or, sometimes it's a whole section. So you're welcome to use those resources as well. Okay, so that is, let me go back to our list here of Module 1. So you'll always have what we're doing, then the lecture and notes, then you'll go to the Module 1 lab in Desmos. Okay, so this course is set up as part lecture, part lab. So in an in-person class, we would do a lecture part and then a lab part. So we're mimicking that in the online environment with Desmos, and Desmos is used in in-person classes too. So let me show you how to go to Desmos. We have a Desmos classroom set up. So it's the same link every time, which is why I put it up at the top. And so you want to click on that. And the first time you go to it, it'll probably look something like this. Our course code is already automatically input here. So sometimes you might just see join, but the first time it'll ask you if you either want to log in with Google or log in with Desmos. In other words, making up a separate login. So I personally have done it with Google, and it pops up a little window with my different Google accounts. So I'm going to just choose the one that's a student for me. This is my student code or student Google thing. So I click on join. And let me just highlight this class. Okay, so then you'll see each week, you'll see a new lab here. So here's our Module 1 lab. And I'm going to click on Start just to give you a little overview and sense of what this is about. So this is you. Please do make sure that I can see your name visible here, because I will be going in here to grade them and make sure that everyone has done them. So make sure it lists your name. And then I'm going to click on Start the activity. Okay, so this one does have a little bit of reading with it. So we're going to start with a simulation example, just like in the videos. So I won't go through the whole thing, but you can see those are set up in slides. Some of the slides will have information, and then here's where the questions start. So you would type in, I'm not doing this for real, so I would hit submit, and then it'll either say try again, or it'll tell me that I got it right. And you scroll down because there are more. You can see there's another box down below. And so you will get instant feedback as you're going through, because that's important to know if you're doing it right or not. But if you're getting stuck on it, like if you're trying things and you're getting stuck, then please post in the discussion and we will help you there. This is a coin flipper. If I click below, it's actually going to flip coins. So you get to do a simulation here and put in your trials there. And then it guides you through everything you're going to be doing. Okay. And there are some, let's see if I can show you this. Down below, there are some things that say share with class when you click on it. So it's usually a description or an explanation, like trying to figure out some concept, right? So you don't have to be perfect, and I'm just looking for kind of in basic language what you think. And then when you share with class, you'll get to see 3 other student responses, and other students will get to see your responses. So it chooses randomly, I think. This is really helpful as you're trying to figure something out, and you can see, well, what did someone else say? And so please use that to help, kind of helps build the community in the class and see what other people are thinking about, and how the way someone else worded something might help you a lot. And then, of course, use the discussion area. I'll show you that in a second. So sometimes it'll ask you to upload a screenshot of a graph. Let me move this back up to the top. Sometimes there's some little check boxes. There's different tools. You also will often be accessing our class data sets through here. Here's a matching. So these are little card sorts where usually it's a bold title. So look for the titles first. Numerical and categorical. So I'm going to look for all the things that are associated with numerical and all the things that are associated with categorical, and see how it highlights when I click on it. And then let's say I put one on here that's not right, and you can't take the top one off. So if another one gets on the top, somehow, you can't take the top one off. So what you can do is separate the bottom ones off and then start over. So that's a little tip on the matching things. And it'll tell you when you're complete and correct up here. A little more information, another card sort. So look for the titles and then match. Here, this one has 5 titles, and then you can match those up. A little discussion thing, another matching. There's a lot of vocabulary in the first module, so that's why there's a lot of matching in this one. Then at the end, it will give you your score. These always add up to 10 points. So it will give you your score right there, and I'll be checking your score from here, okay? Great, so that's a little overview of the lab. So we'll have one of those each week. That's the lab. And then your score won't automatically go into D2L. Unfortunately, I have to do that manually. So it might take me a day or two, and then I will put your score in the D2L grade book. And that's why you might want to have notifications set up. So then you're like, oh, okay, that grade was input. I can just see in the text or the email, right, what it is. Or you just check your grade book every time you log in. Okay, so here I have the manual checkboxes because these are things you might want to come back to, whereas the original, what we're doing this week is probably a one-time thing, and click on it and that's done. Then the next thing this is the discussion area. So if you do get stuck or you want to discuss anything about the lab, this is optional but encouraged and recommended. So you would click start a new thread right here. Or you might see that someone has already posted. Let's say you have a question or you're getting stuck and you think, well, maybe I'll see if someone else is having the same issue. Go here and check and see if there's another thread already started. And you can add on to that thread or you can start a new thread. Okay, discussions here is a quick way to get to it. That's a shortcut. And you can see we have our intro discussion first, and then we have, oh, I forgot, there's private check-ins. Those are required too. Down here are all the lab discussions. So each module has one just to kind of keep them sorted throughout the term, so you're not wading through a bunch of stuff. Yes, we do have private check-ins. I really like this in the online setting where these are set up so that it's a private group. We can set up groups in D2L, and these are actually groups of one. So you're in your own group, and I'll show you that. It doesn't happen until Module 3 and Module 8. So I'm glad I came across that so I can tell you about that. Okay, let me finish Module 1 first, though. So then you'll go to the online homework, and that'll be in the next video describing how that works. Then the last thing is the Module 1 quiz, and that's also in my open math, so that's also in that video. Talks about that, okay? If you are scanning your work, please upload a PDF, and there's I don't know if you'll have multiple pages in a quiz, but in the midterm you might. So here's a video for scanning multiple pages in a PDF. And I can also help you with that. Okay, so that's a full module. So that's what you'll be doing each week. Then, like I mentioned, that Module 3 is slightly different because you have the private check-in with instructor. So for this one, you're in a group of size 1, so it is private. I'm the only one that'll see it. And you can reflect and answer on these questions in 5 to 8 sentences. Now, if you prefer, you can also do this by phone or by Zoom, and I'd be happy to do that with you. And you get the points either way. So you've got 3 choices. Do it by writing in the discussion, set up a phone call, set up a Zoom meeting, or if you can think of another way, we can do it another way. Okay, so there's one last thing I want to show you, and that is links and data sets. So this is above Module 1. I do have a link because we're using so many applets this term, and I know it seems like a lot, but you'll get familiar with them, and you'll be using them a lot, so you'll get, and they're very user-friendly. So I do have a list by module if you prefer to go to this list. And then there's that, and then we also have 2 different data sets right now that we'll be using for this class. So we have some Oregon data by county, so this has different information about people in each county of Oregon. And then here, this is a data set on people shot by the police in the United States. So I know this can be a really heavy topic, and if you're concerned about that, if that's your lived experience, I totally understand that. Please reach out to me and I will work with you on a different data set. Or often you can choose which data set to use, and so you could choose the other data set. Okay, so really important though to as I said in the quote, my goal for this class is to be empowered to be able to use data to be empowered to change policy. So I want to come at it from a place of empowerment, but I also know that it can be challenging. Okay, so that is our overview of Module 1, and each module will be very similar to that. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video for My Open Math, and I'm really excited to work with you this term.